So, one thing I want to talk about is this, like, driving me nuts is people that drive with little animals in their laps.
Oh my hell, I'm so with you.
Like, I think that, like, the LAPD should mistake them for, like, whatever the, like, newest serial killer is and gun them down.
Right.
Like, so I guess, like, first off, I should ask, do either of you guys know if, like, is this illegal, like, talking on the cell phone or something, like, while driving? Like, if you, like, if a cop sees it, can they pull you over for that? Because they should.
It's just like any of the other laws. It's going to be state by state, but I do not know of any states where that's against the law.
That should be put into place right away.
Sure. I'm pretty sure there are generic, like, distraction laws. Like, you're not allowed to be, like, distracted, which is why you can't have screens for the most part, like, you know, right up in your business.
Right.
So maybe there's, like, a way that an officer could interpret that if you had committed another offense.
Right.
It's like, you're driving and you had a dog on your lap. They could probably pin you with, like, something.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think it can be a primary offense, but they can tack it on after the fact. Like, you were speeding and you were distracted because you had a tiny little yapping dog on your lap. But I don't think they can just pull you over for exclusively that. Like,
I think
it's like an addable offense.
I think they should be able to pull you over for that, and I think the first offense should be crucifixion. Absolutely.
It's really good that I've restocked my cop car with wood, because it's
well, if you don't have wood, we can do public stoning, because there's stones everywhere.
Yeah. So. I'm down with that. Yeah. No, but it's funny because just recently, okay, and by recently I mean a couple of years ago. I don't keep track of this shit. Timelines are hard for me.
It's all relative.
But, right, it is. Utah passed a new law about where animal abuse, like if you are witnessed hitting, kicking, basically exacting violence on an animal, it is no longer a misdemeanor, it's a felony.
Oh, sick.
Like, yeah, it's a super hardcore thing, right? And there was a joke going around for a long time that, like, you can hit your wife and it's a misdemeanor, but if you kick your dog, it's a felony, right?
Right.
But, like, we could swing it that way, like, we could attach it that way in that, like, if you have your kid in the car, they have to be restrained. They can't be in your lap. That's against the law. It's like child endangerment. So if we're applying the same, like, ideals to animals as we are to human beings, then if your animal's in the car, it has to be restrained for its own safety.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to go about it.
I honestly think, like, the law should be, like, you know how, like, most wagons and SUVs, like, have that, like, little, like, net or fence that goes between, like, the sort of, like, back and, like, the back seat? Like, you should have to have that. Like, it should be, like, fully up and restrained. Like, that should be, like, the seatbelt for the dog. Like, there has to be some barrier between, like, the cabin of the car and where the animal is.
No, I agree completely. Or they have to be in, like, a kennel, or we need to start inventing dog and cat seatbelts of some type.
I like the idea for cats just because that will annoy the shit out of them, and it would be hilarious for a couple seconds.
So mad.
Well, let me point this out. The only reason I'm saying we should go at the law this way is because it makes legal sense.
Yeah.
I am not pro-animal violence, but that is not why this annoys me. Like, it annoys me because these idiots shouldn't be driving around with chihuahuas in their laps. Mm-hmm. Like, they're the same people who are walking through the store with them in their purse, and I just want to strangle them.
In my opinion, don't bring your fucking pets in public. I don't care about your dog. I know you love your dog. Leave your fucking dog at home where it has, like, a bed and food and water and, like, a shelter. It is dangerous for it to be in the car. It's dangerous for you to bring it into stores. What if people are allergic to dogs? Like, that's a dick move. I hate that.
Right.
Fuck you. Leave your dog at home.
Right. No, and it's like, there are some stores that allow dogs, but it makes sense. Most
like
stores...
PetSmart.
Like,
Right. PetSmart makes sense. Bring your pet into PetSmart. There are some, like, rock climbing hippie stores in Moab that allow you to bring your dogs in. That's fine. I don't care. Like, if I'm shopping for metallic, you know, rock climbing gear, I'm not going to care if it has dog hair on it. But if you sell food or apparel, you should not have animals in your store.
Yeah.
Besides service animals, obviously. Like,
well, yeah. That's
a whole different ballgame. Right.
Yeah.
The exception, not the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, that's one of the few driving behaviors that drives me really crazy. But what's funny is I recently, like a couple months ago, I started running regularly, and I have this little route from my house that I go on every day. I did not realize how many people text and drive until I started running. Because I look up at everyone just, you know, for my own safety. No one is looking at the road. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, any day now I'm going to die. Like, any day now I'm going to get hit.
Is that illegal? in Utah yet?
Oh yeah, super illegal.
Okay, okay, yeah, because it is here too, but it doesn't change.
Here too.
Talk on the phone, but we can't text. But then they just added a new addendum that unless like music controls, you can't be controlling music on your phone or an iPod unless it's built into the car. Yep. You can't adjust it.
I don't think we can talk on the phone here either. It has to be like you have to have like
no California. You can't talk on the you can't talk on the phone.
Basically,
like it has to be through the like car like Bluetooth system or a headset or something like that. In Oregon, is it the same?
Yeah, it takes it even one step further. You can't text, you can't be on the phone, and you also can't have your phone mounted. Like there's no phone use in cars allowed. Period in Oregon. Like
that's
like I am the most pro cell phone use at all times person in the world, and even I am like, no, that's necessary. Like people should not be using their phones in cars. That it's just a terrible idea.
Yeah,
it's dangerous. It's just fucking dangerous, and it's selfish. Honestly.
Yeah, I get like driven off or driven out of my lane at least once a month by like people on their cell phones, and then like honestly, the people I worry about the most is like motorcyclists.
Yeah. No.
Like those
guys. As a motorcyclist, that's terrifying. Like
you'll die.
Yeah. It's not even like no, this isn't about like me getting a hike in my insurance. This is about my family mourning my death.
Right.
Like, yeah, dude. Seriously.
That's what it's about now at this point.
Wow.
I like that you said it's selfish, because that's totally what it is. I know, that was an awkward time to take a drink. I was like, mid-thought. But,
it's selfish. It's like, and with the exception of like a neurosurgeon being told that he needs to turn around and come back to the hospital because the school bus that crashed and all the kids' lives are in his hands, and he's getting like the page to turn around. Like that's the exception.
I was just gonna say though, that doctor shouldn't be on his cell phone. He should have a pager, and when it goes off, he should pull over and then check his page.
I will.
Bro, are you gonna be at the barbecue on time?
Right.
I'm in the car, so I'm on the way. I mean, you don't need to answer.
Hey, what are you thinking about right now? LOL, today at work was really hard.
But I've had people get mad at me. Like, I've gone to pick up lunch and, like, got my lunch and been on the way back to work, and someone will text me and be like, hey, can you pick me up food too? And I won't get it until I get back to work and check my phone, because I don't check my phone in the car. And they'll be like, hey, I texted you to get me food. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to endanger my life to make sure you get a fucking burrito, asshole. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get mad at me.
Hey, that being said, burritos are really important.
Yeah.
They are important. Burritos are important second only to continuing to live to eat more burritos.
Right.
So,
that's
keep your priorities.
A good theory on life.
That brings up like a little bit of my next point, Anton, where like I blame a little bit of the like phone use to like jobs. Like just because like since everyone works from their phone, there's like a little bit of like expectation to where like you will be like responsive from your phone like 5 minutes or like 10 minutes or whatever after like a text or email, no matter where you are with like job related stuff. And I don't know, that's kind of shitty. Like if employers are doing that, because I know there's kind of like an unspoken rule like at my current place of employment where you should be calling or like responding to like emails within a certain period of time. But if I'm driving, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And like there's a couple like emergency times where I will respond like via text at a stoplight, but that's the only time I do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I totally understand that, but it's like I see people like I honestly the ones that blow my mind once again. It's these dudes on freaking crotch rockets going down the freeway at 80 whose heads are down and they're texting. Like no hands on their handlebars at all. Oh yeah, no, I see it a lot. Like I'm gonna say at least once every 2 months. I see at least one motorcyclist who is one or two handing it, and I'm like, holy shit, it can wait. There is nothing that is more important than you not dying right now.
What if
literally nothing?
It's like, dude, I know you have it. What's the cure to cancer? And he's like, blah 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 blah.
Right.
You have 5 seconds. We need to know right now.
Right. But Ryan, like, I think you just hit on something that's like really huge, and it's something that we've definitely seen happen even in our lifespans, and it's just like the slow speed up of life, right? Where like now it's like you always have to be on, you always have to be available, and since people know that that's like a thing, that you always have a cell phone, now it's like an expectation, which is total bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny because I used to always get really pissed at my parents because I would try to call them at the house, And, like, no one would answer at the house, so then I'd call their cell phones, and no one would answer on their cell phones. And I'm like, what the hell? So I'd go over to their house, and their cell phones are just, like, sitting on the table. And I'm like, what is the point of a damn cell phone if you don't take it with you? But then my dad, just like the way he explains it, he's like, sometimes I just don't want to be reached. Like, whatever, I'll call you back when I want to call you back. And that's such an older generation thing. Like, the idea of people not being able to get a hold of me gives me, like, butterflies a little bit. You know what I mean?
I wish so much I would have, like, been where I am right now in IT, like, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. When, like, I may have had a beeper, but I wouldn't have to support tablets or phones or get email on my phone or even text. Like, I don't even want to text. But just like that sort of, like, nice idea where, for the most part, when you're, like, not at work, you're not working. Yeah. Stuff.
And that's, like, a huge problem with my job right now. So it's a salary position, so technically I'm always on the clock.
Yeah, unlimited hours.
Yeah, and they give me a company-provided cell phone. So it's like they're paying me all the time. They're paying for my cell phone that they expect me to have on me. And we work in a environment for enterprise IT where servers go down whenever the fuck they feel like. Right. So, I'll get calls at 9 o'clock at night and, I'm eating dinner or I'm going to sleep or fuck whatever. I'm doing whatever the fuck I want to do. And it's like my phone will ring and ring and ring and I have an obligation to pick up. And people know they can get a hold of you now. There's no more like the whole like voicemail thing. When people call other people and actually get voicemail, it's like it throws them off. People aren't used to actually.
It's like a slap in the face.
Yeah, it's like why didn't you pick up my call? I know it's on you. And
you know who's calling.
Yeah.
I do have to say, same vein, one thing that drives me absolutely crazy is when I text someone and they respond and then I call them and they don't pick up.
Oh,
because I'm like, you have your phone.
Right.
No.
It's literally in your hands.
The most aggravating thing is when someone calls you and you miss it, like you couldn't unlock it in time, and so you wait a minute and you call them right back and they don't anser. It's like, what did you do? You're just like, well, they didn't pick up, so I'm gonna fucking throw my phone in a lake.
Exactly.
The only thing that would make sense is they're like, I'm gonna call Anton real quick. If he doesn't answer, it's a sign that I should throw my phone in the ocean.
Right.
And they're oh well.
His phone's going in a time capsule that I'm burying. He better answer. Oh well,
shit.
We'll remember this in 50 years.
God, dude. But this is topical with the smartwatches. Is now like one of the main arguments. So health use, of course, obviously there's a lot of health and fitness apps that can tie into the smartwatches. Right. But the biggest thing that every time I talk to somebody who supports these things, they say, well, it's really convenient because I can get alarms and messages and notifications that'll buzz on my wrist. And since it's always touching me, like even if I don't have my phone near me or my phone's in my pocket and I don't feel it, I'll always know if I got a message or a phone call or an email. And like, I don't want that. I don't want people to know that they can literally buzz my wrist whenever they feel like they want to get a hold of me. Like my wrist is connected to the internet at all times. Fuck that. I leave me alone sometimes. I want that.
Your phone and your pants pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I do have to say though, waking up to a gentle vibration alarm on your wrist as opposed to sound is pretty pleasant.
I know where you're already going with this. It's not going to be like on your wrist, is it?
I'm just saying it's nice. Like you can put
the
watch wherever you want.
Yeah.
It goes about that big.
How tight do the bands get?
Well, let's just say enough. That's all that needs to be known is they can get tight enough, and it's nice. It's just a sense of, like gentle, like and I'm like, oh yeah, it's time to get up. Don't deny it. It's good, guys. I'm saying.
I'm wondering if
something different.
If this like smartwatch thing takes off, there's like already like that sort of like phantom like leg syndrome thing where like you feel like your leg's vibrating but your phone didn't vibrate. I wonder if wrists are going to start doing that for people.
Totally.
Oh yeah,
that would suck a lot.
Yep.
I totally thought you were going to the like you get your arm chopped off and then your arm itches and you can't scratch it.
Will you still get phantom text from your dead arm? Does that happen?
Yes.
What's up?
This is going to be
your arm chopped off in the industrial iWatch accident, and next thing you know, your phantom wrist is buzzing all the time.
Should I call the ghost hunters? I don't know who to call for this.
That's some Edgar Allan Poe shit. Like, the watch keeps buzzing. Like, where is it? Where's the watch?
Nevermore.
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 It's buried in the walls with my dead spouse.
Oh, Poe. You creepy fucker.
Dude, so much. No, do you know who was more creepy, though? Like, this is always my go-to, but H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, yeah.
The dude lived with, like, the 80-year-old woman, and, like, no one knew if it was just, like a normal, like, I like this lady situation, or if it was, like, a Harold and Maude, like, they were taking the train to Boomtown frequently. Like, no one knew. No one knew what was going on. And then he's writing this stuff about, like, characters that, like, lay on graves and feel good. And you're like, okay. Yeah. All right.
I see where you're going with this.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he was probably pretty fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to say, like...
Something happened to that dude. Like, he wasn't just, like, a normal kid, like, picking dandelions in the outfield waiting for a fly ball.
We talked about this last time, though, but people who are into horror, though, are usually the most well-adjusted people. So I bet he was a really cool guy to grab a beer with. I bet he had some good stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, I bet he... Like, if he at all talked like his books are, you never knew when he was full of shit and when he wasn't. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I was walking down the street the other day and I saw Sandra. And then Sandra told me about Tammy, who ran into this, like, faceless horror. And you're like, wait a minute. For real? Like, I know who Sandra is, but is Tammy a real person? Like, are you totally shitting me right now?
God damn it.
Do we need to go down and do some incantations to, like, cleanse my chakras right now?
Yes.
HP, because you're freaking me the shit out. And then he just goes home and bangs the 80-year-old woman. And life goes on. And life goes on. Ryan, it's okay.
It's like Swiss cheese.
That was like a real risk back then, though, because it was not like hip replacements were readily available. So, I mean, he had to be, like, both delicate, but also, you know... He was
delicate and firm.
Delicate and firm, you know?
He basically was a Serta mattress. Like, exactly. Dial your number. That's what you gotta do.
He had the tenacious D, you know? So
right.
That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah, he was just like, get on top, do what you like.
They don't like that.
Not so fast, I'm gonna spurt. Told you not to poke me so hard. I think that's the second Tenacious D reference we've made, at least.
It is. Oh, yeah. It is. It might show up before the other two. No, it'll show up after.
Yeah.
Sometimes the editing throws me off. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I already told you guys that I put a hospital sock on my mic, right?
No.
Okay, this is actually good for you, Ryan. If you have a like a normal open air mic, which you do, I've seen it. I've seen a picture. You want to cover that shit when you're not using it, because even like the air currents in your room will screw with it. It messes it up. So it's good to cover it. But the whole time I can't ever stop playing with the sock. Like, it's just here. And like every episode, I end up playing with it for like 15 minutes.
Well, all right. So you open the topic of sock puppets. Have you guys watched Syphil and Ollie? Ever?
No.
What? All right, I guess I'm the only. All right, so everyone listening, and Anton and John, you guys need to check Syphil and Ollie. It was an amazing TV show. Like, have you guys heard of the song United States of Whatever? It was pretty...
Yeah, Liam Lynch.
Yeah, so that's Syphil and Ollie. That was taken from that show. So it was, I think it was like a late 90s, early 2000s, back when MTV actually like aired music and cool shit. Yeah. It was like a sock puppet like television show where they were basically kind of like running their own TV show. They'd have like calls from the public, rock facts, and it was kind of like a rock themed sock puppet television show. But anyway, it's still not.
You've already got me. I'll watch it.
That's great.
It's still not on DVD, which means you guys will have to find it on YouTube or weird sites or pirate it or something. But it's definitely worth checking out. It's pretty effing sweet.
Right.
Cool. Will do.
Which now, I mean, you just opened the biggest can of worms you possibly could have opened, which is really cool shows. On Netflix right now, if you have not, watch the show Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. So it's like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer for now, super vulgar Canadian, so they can get away with all sorts of shit.
Well, I'm sold. You said Buffy and vulgar.
Right,
and
no,
Canadian.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and Canadian.
Right. What more could you want?
Really nothing.
I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice. Yeah, there's also a really weird movie called Detention, which I think it's more up Anton's alley, but you should both watch it. It's funny because I point to your guys' pictures, which has no relevance to a third party at all.
Yeah. What you're gonna have to do is
you're over here to me, and Ryan's over here. Ryan's over there.
Yeah.
Right. You're over here, Anton, and you're over here, Ryan.
Possibly what you could do, John, is if people are listening to in stereo and you like make your fingers move fast enough, they might be able to tell where you're pointing.
I'm like, whoosh.
Yeah, exactly.
right. Whoosh.
Speaking
your
of
whoosh
like,
is better than mine.
like shamelessly plugging like other things. Over the last weekend, I was bored and like wanted to kill some time on Netflix, and I pulled up the movie Dead Silence. It has
my gosh, the ventriloquist dummy movie.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, no, I saw it a long time ago, like when it came out.
Oh, it's actually pretty decent.
What's funny is Netflix hates it. It's only got 2 stars on Netflix, right?
Oh, I didn't check the rating, but yeah, basically I clicked on it. Like the first thing I thought was like, what was the Goosebump version of it? Basically, it was like the dummy walks at midnight or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like right when I saw it, I was like, oh, Goosebumps, and I was like, I need something just like sort of like high fidelity. Like I need something in the background to just like drone out, like old sad man music. And so like I needed, just something in the background while I'm doing other stuff to like watch and listen to. But it was actually pretty good. It was had like really good scares. It was pretty damn creepy.
Yeah.
And like the plot wasn't really stupid.
And it has Donnie Wahlberg. What more can you want?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I saw that movie and I saw that it was on Netflix and it only has 2 stars. And I was like, Netflix, of all of the material on you, like really 2 stars for Dead Silence? You are fickle sons of bitches.
You guys have Short Circuit 2.
Right, yeah.
And you're giving this 2 stars.
That's one thing that does annoy me with Netflix, when they get sequels but not the originals.
Oh, I know!
I've heard mixed reasons for this. None of them I believe. I think they're just like cheaping out. And they're just like, well, to get the rights to Short Circuit is this much money, but it's like a third of the price for Short Circuit 2, so let's buy that.
Which, let us all not forget, the worst racism, like blatant racism in any movie ever, is the original Short Circuit, where a totally white American actor plays an Indian dude.
I don't remember it enough.
Yeah, no. Go back and watch it. Did you ever watch the television show Early Edition, where the guy got the newspaper a day early and then runs around the city to save people? It was on the same time.
I remember that. Yeah.
So he always hung out at a bar with his 2 best friends, and it was a blind black girl and then this other dude. It's the other dude, and he plays an Indian guy, and it's terrible.
That's kind of like when
awful.
That's like when they get like Hispanics to play like Native Americans.
Right, or Johnny Depp to play an American Indian.
Or like when they get Johnny Depp to play anything.
Right, yeah. No, like, let it go. Whoa, one of my my left earbud just died.
Oh.
It's gonzo.
I know what that's like. Been there, bro.
I'll talk to your right. Wait, just to your left.
Thank you.
Right,
you'll actually know the dude. His name is Fisher Stevens.
Oh, yeah, Fisher Stevens and good old Fisher.
Yeah, he plays an Indian.
Call him Fisher Sweets.
Fisher Sweets. Where's the brown paper bag, Conan? You gotta get the brown paper bag.
Speaking of Johnny Depp, there's a good documentary that was just released called No Good Reason. Mm-hmm. Crap, I'm blanking on the artist, but it was the artist who went around with Hunter S. Thompson, and it's a pretty good documentary. That was probably the worst plug I've ever done. So
no, it was good. I was stunned silence because I'm also trying to remember the name of that artist.
I have his paintings bookmarked because one of these days I'm gonna like drop like $1,000 and buy one of his prints, but I can't think of what his name is.
Now you just brought up art. This is my secret. I am sharing my secret with you and anyone who stumbles upon this on the internet.
We're in the secret trust circle.
Secret trust circle. I am the first to totally crap all over modern art. Like I don't get it. I don't understand it. Some is worse than others. Like obviously like Dadaism, where it's like, look, I'm turning a urinal upside down and now it's art, or like I'm gold plating poop and now it's art, right? But I will say Mark Rothko. If you've ever seen a Mark Rothko, like he's the one that most people make fun of because it literally will be like a canvas totally covered in red with like one stripe of orange across it, right? But I love Rothko's shit. Like for some reason, I find it super visually pleasing.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Probably because I'm like borderline autistic, but I love it.
Yeah, so I just pulled him up. So I mean, but that's kind of the thing about art, though, right? Is that I mean, you're kind of a dick if you're just like, well, like if you kind of like thinking like absolutisms, like everything is either like good or bad. It's really just like subjective. Like I mean, I like whatever the guy's name is that I can't think of that I just plugged the documentary for. I loved his stuff, but I would...
Yeah, I know.
I would not be surprised if 99% of the world is like, that's the worst art I've ever seen. Like, it's not... I'm not buying it because I think it's objectively good. I'm buying it because I like it.
Well, no, that's like the number one artist that I crap on all the time is Pablo Picasso. Because, like, people always talk about it like it's the deepest shit. And maybe it's just that I'm really vapid and shallow and lame, but I don't get it. Like, to me, it looks like someone who had actual skill and then just decided to draw shit all the time. Like, so it's like if Michelangelo decided that he wanted to do doodles inside his Trapper Keeper instead. Like... It's just, it looks awful, and I hate it. And nothing anybody will ever say will change my personal opinion about it. Like, that's fine. If you want to love Picasso, love the hell out of him. That's cool. That's your thing. But I just hate it. I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean...
And Anton, that's the result I usually get, is people who are like, really? Like,
I wouldn't...
colors.
I personally wouldn't hang his stuff in my house. I would maybe hang one of his in my office.
Yeah, it's very office friendly.
Yeah,
I think.
It's got
no context.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think that I would hang any of his art in my house, but I would hang him from a tree if given the opportunity. That's what I thought you were going to say, but you're not as offensive as me.
I don't know. I'm not really into, like, I enjoy art. I like looking at art, but I don't think I like any type of like painting or like that type of art that I would ever want hung in my house. Like photography is really where it's at for me as far as like things I want on my wall, you know?
Yeah.
Or like posters or like things that are representative of the things that I enjoy. But just like landscapes or, you know, those kind of paintings, just they don't do it for me. Like,
well, landscapes always look like balls.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Well, there's that theory where if you get like the certain amount of landscape correct, like enough like land and like mountains and ocean, it's supposed to like create some sort of like very like primal like pleasure in you, where you enjoy it because it's exactly what you would want if you were like an Aboriginal or something. You're like, this is like what I need to survive or something like that. But yeah, I like the only thing I don't like about photography, sort of like style paintings, is the photoshopping done these days.
Oh my god, HDR! Stop HDRing stuff!
HDR is okay like 2% of the time, but like the rest is just...
Well, it's good when it's used to enhance colors in situations where the colors need to be enhanced, and when they look more vibrant, slightly more vibrant, that's interesting. But when you fucking like turn your HDR up to 11 and take a picture of the Grand Canyon, it's red! Oh. We know it's red! You don't need to make it more red!
It's too much.
You're making it look bad.
We all know. We all know what the Grand Canyon looks like. Even those of us who have never been within 1,000 miles of the Grand Canyon.
You go to, like, Vietnam and find, like, any kid and be like, can you tell me what the Grand Canyon looks like? And they're like, it's a big fucking red hole, right? Yes, that's exactly what it is. We know. You don't need to make it more red.
But how would you like to see my picture where you can see every single crack?
Oh, it's like... I'm subscribed to probably every photography-related subreddit, and they might as well all be shitty HDR, because that's all anybody does, man. And I know who I blame for this? This is your fault, Apple. Your fucking phones, with everybody running around taking goddamn pictures with their stupid fucking iPhones. And yeah, Androids have cameras too, but you know what? You started this. This is your fault. This blood is on your hands, Jobs. So you lay in that dirt and you enjoy the guilt.
Listen, Steve Jobs Ghost, we're done putting up with it.
I'm not going to blame Tim Cook, because that motherfucker hasn't done anything. So, congratulations.
Literally.
No,
literally. He has sat on his hands and done nothing.
You know who he looks like, by the way? Not Colin Mockery, but the other guy from Whose Line?
You're right. Yeah. Whatever his face is.
Ryan.
Ryan. He's been on the show since, like... He's seriously been on the show since, like, the 1700s. So, that guy.
Colin Mockery and Ryan Reynolds. It's Ryan Reynolds.
It's not.
So the artist I was mentioning earlier was Ralph Steadman. He's the one that did all the Hunter S. Thompson sort of animation.
When you mentioned photography, Anton, there was a recent NPR piece. It wasn't Photolab. What's the other one? Radiolab. What's the other one called? This American Life. Yeah. There was a This American Life about this lady, and I think I mentioned her before. She did street art in New York, dude, I would totally put up some of her photos, like anywhere. She just had this weird ability to just capture people in a way that like I had never seen before. Like she literally just walked up to people on the New York street and just snapped pictures of them. I'm trying to find her
sure that
name.
went over
really
well.
Vivian.
Oh, well, Vivian Meyer.
Yeah, Vivian Meyer. Dude, like, I am so transfixed by some of the pictures she took.
You know the story about all that, right?
Yeah,
the dude
about how she was like, she never, ever wanted any of her works released.
Have you watched the documentary?
But she's dead.
Finding Vivian Meyer, whatever. It's really good.
No, I just listened to that podcast about it. But one of the first photos that showed up is like this dude who's just he's fallen asleep in his car on the street, and she just walked up and took a picture of him, and it's just like it's breathtaking.
So yeah, I mean, she is like a pro. Like she's basically as professional as a street artist photographer you can go. But at the same time, I will say from experience, street photography in New York is like the easiest and best place to be for that stuff.
Right.
Because, I mean, you can walk like 5 blocks and like take amazing pictures.
Right.
Like, but I will like, backtrack again and say like she is like one of the like best.
Right. You're not shitting on her. You're just saying if you're going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, she was using like a Rolleiflex back then, which is, I mean, an amazing, photography, camera, a camera for street photography because you're not, you got to hold it kind of like looking down at your chest so people don't like get as spooked. But yeah, her pictures they're amazing.
It's like, what is she doing with that magic box?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up. It's like, this is the one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I saw. Like, even that picture, and then there's like a bunch of like little kids crying and holding their parents' hands. And then there's one that I didn't see when I just pulled up the results, but it is literally just this African-American dude who's laughing, but he has like the most pug, wrinkly face ever. Like he has so many wrinkles, you can tell that he's like 80 years old. And like it's just like if there is a picture that I've ever seen that just embodies like pure happiness, that's the picture. Like it's awesome.
Yeah,
and she does such a good job.
You guys should watch the documentary. It's Finding Vivian Meyer or whatever her last name is, or however it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think.
But it's a little self-congratulatory by the dude who made it, who also found all of her photos.
Right.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
It goes pretty in depth in her life and stuff.
Right. Yeah. That was kind of one of the biggest points that they made in that This American Life thing is like, how much of a right does an artist have about their work after they're dead? Because I guess she was like really clear that she didn't want any of her stuff released. Like it was all for her. Well, she's like, I don't like to share my pictures. I don't want people to see my pictures, stuff like that.
So, I mean, in the documentary, like she's a pretty big recluse, and she never went to anyone and kind of said like either way. But there's like a small town in France where she did actually talk to one dude who owned like a photo place there and was like, I want you to sort of like publish or be the dude who's the middleman between me and my like landscape pictures. Okay. So like she never like came out and said like I want people to see my pictures except for that one dude. So it's kind of up there. But I mean she is dead, so it kind of doesn't matter.
Right, but like it's kind of an interesting thought, right? Like, is your property and like your creative talent still yours after you're dead, or does it like
not if you didn't say anything, man?
That's true.
It's true.
If you did, you're dead. Fuck you. You're dead. You took some dope ass pictures. Now you're dead. I want to look at them. So who is it hurting? It's not hurting you. You're dead.
Yeah. So I guess I should say like, in my opinion, the true artist shouldn't care. They should want their stuff, like, just do whatever with it. You know, I took it for everyone's interpretation or enjoyment or whatever, so do with it what you will.
Right. No, I understand that. I get it. It makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Dead me doesn't want people going through my shit.
and by shit, you mean history.
Yeah. Right. Your internet history, exactly.
No. Everybody has to have the one friend, right? Yep. The one friend who comes over before the family comes over and cleans everything up.
Yep.
Makes it all nice and presentable.
All you guys have your red phone that you get a call in case of my death.
Right, exactly.
And there's a page for one-way ticket to wherever I live, and you guys.
Right, exactly.
So the real trick is you gotta get like
send us this little package that's all taped up, and it's like only break in case of
right. Open up your box of faith.
Right, exactly. It's like a cigar, a little bottle of scotch, a one-way ticket to wherever you live.
That'd be perfect.
It would be perfect.
Cigar, scotch, ticket.
Right. That's the best.
Smoke cigar, drink scotch, fly.
Right, exactly.
This is totally off topic, but you brought up scotch. Did you see that video? It was on Reddit yesterday, so I'm assuming you guys saw it. But of like the 50-year-old whiskey that they cracked open, and then it was this really cool video because we're talking about art, anyways. It was like all about this company that's turning 50 years old, like 2 months ago or something, and they had like this cask of whiskey that was like their first barrel they ever made 50 years ago.
Shit.
And so they cracked it open like on its birthday, right? And like tried it, and they're now bottling it and selling it, and it's like $20,000 a bottle or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
It was really interesting to see like they showed like how they make the barrels and like how they hand make like they still blow the glass for the bottles, and how they even though they don't leak, the liquid seeps into the wood and then evaporates over time. So like the full like 50-gallon barrel now only has like 10 gallons left, maybe. Right. But it was still like perfectly clear when it came out, or it had like the yellow hint to it, obviously. But it was like there was no shit floating in it or anything. It was really interesting just to see like how much art and skill is behind turning grain into shit that fucks you up.
Damn, like 50 years, that has to be like the smoothest.
Oh, dude, right?
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was funny because I was sitting in a Chinese restaurant once, and just on the background, like it was Discovery Channel or whatever running, and it was like, How Does It Work was on or whatever. And the two that were in a row, one was all about whiskey, and then the next one was all about distilleries. Mm-hmm. And it, like, I was just transfixed. Like, I stayed way longer than my meal took just watching, because like watching them like handcraft the barrels and like choosing what wood. Like they just, for 10 minutes, they just talked to the guy who's like deciding what wood will make it, like make the cut for the barrels and what won't. And he's like inspecting it all and touching it and like smelling it. And then he's like, oh yeah, this will make a good barrel. And I'm like, dude, I want that job. I want the just like crawling through lumber and picking barrel wood job.
Yeah, when the zombie apocalypse comes, you guys know where I'm like getting my base. Yeah. Is one of those whiskey distillers. Watch out, Jameson or Jack Daniels or one of you guys, because I'm taking you guys out.
Right.
Very interesting though. I really enjoy like those artisan like crafts. People who still do shit that they like really love by hand with like really extreme quality. It's really, really interesting. That's stuff that is kind of dying off.
Yeah.
In age.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I believe wholeheartedly that Oprah is the Antichrist. That being said, Oprah, if you want to sponsor the podcast.
Color purple.
That's fine. Right.
You get a podcast.
All the way.
You get a podcast, and you get a podcast.
Right. But she, one of the things that she, like, plugged for a really long time was this whole idea that you owe it to the world to do what you love. Because if everyone just, like, got paid enough to live for doing the things they loved doing, the general quality of everything would go through the roof. Like, if the only people being doctors were people who cared about people and wanted to be doctors were doctors, the quality of, like, patient care would be just insurmountably awesome.
That's some next generation shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
You just do what you want, and you don't worry about money.
Have you guys heard about this concept of the economic concept of basic income?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. So like that.
I mean, I'm sure I have, but by that name now.
Well, it's really interesting, and it's like it's been proposed as like a alternative to, because we're in a situation right now where obviously capitalism sucks. I mean, say what you want to say, but it's greedy and it promotes people being greedy, and there always has to be something on the top, after you pay for labor and all that shit. So
it doesn't suck for super rich people.
I will say it's the best system.
It's not the best system. Are you an idiot?
It's the system that says if you're stupid or rich.
No. Currently in existence, like in practice, it's the best system.
No.
Communism all the way, bitch.
No, communism is the worst.
No,
it's the best.
No, this is awesome. Let's talk about this. This is great.
Is Marxism, obviously.
Obviously.
But Marx himself knew that it would never work if run by men. So Marxism is out.
That was a
philosophy. It can't happen.
Marxism is out.
Right. Like, true Marxism, it is. It's gone. Like, it's a fantasy. It's like, if it's run by a deity, great, it'll work. That can't happen. So next.
If capitalism was run by a deity, it'd be great too, but it's not. It's run by men, and so it's terrible.
Capitalism right. But what is better? What system is better?
Even if something isn't better, there's nothing worse.
No, but that's
the worst.
No. Like, you didn't let me finish. I was going to say, it's the best currently in practice, but it's still a low bar. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. Like, yeah, no, it's not great. It's really easily exploited.
Right, it's the smartest kid with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the gold medalist in the Special Olympics. That's all there is to it. I'm saying it.
So the idea of basic income is this concept. Of course, it's never been implemented anywhere, but it's supposed to like toe the line between something like Marxism and something like capitalism. And the idea is that when you turn 18, everybody gets paid minimum wage. Just period. No conditions, no anything. Just if you are 18 and you live in the country that has this economic system, you get minimum wage. You get a check every 2 weeks. And this takes the place of things like welfare. It takes the place of a lot of like social programs. Listen to me, you motherfucker.
I'm listening. I have not jumped in once.
I'm laughing because John's laughing.
I'm laughing because I'm biting my tongue.
Oh. Okay. So the idea is everyone gets paid minimum wage. And on top of that, if you would like to go get a job and work and earn more money, you can. There's still jobs. There's still obviously people who will pay for your labor to go do stuff. You can go do that and choose to have more money. But if you want to have a creative career, or you want to use a career that typically would not provide you with any sort of income, you can still do that and give back to society in ways that are not typically monetarily viable. So,
but wait,
I think that's pretty sweet.
So wait, being devil's advocate, wouldn't everyone essentially just flip burgers if everyone's getting paid the same?
Well, you could. If you wanted to go flip burgers, you could go flip burgers. But the idea is that you don't have to. There's no stress to go have a shitty job because you need money.
Like, I have a feeling this is...
I can hop in. I'm okay to hop in.
You and John. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think.
No. Like, it's like, in theory, that sounds like a great idea. But if there's one thing that welfare systems have proved, and I don't care where the welfare system is, United States, Europe, anywhere, is that if you get paid for doing nothing, the majority of people will continue to do nothing.
There are people...
people like you, and there are people like me who would go out and get jobs, because we would be bored as hell sitting on our ass making minimum wage. But 90%, and especially if that were to happen today in America, seriously, 90%, and I don't feel like that is an overestimate, of people would sit on their ass and just draw the check every 2 weeks.
I feel like the amount of people not working would definitely go up. I mean, we're already at a pretty high unemployment rate, and we trend pretty high on unemployment. So there's already a lot of people who are not working and not doing anything already, and they're a huge burden on society because through the welfare systems that we have that are exploitable, they are able to drain a lot of money and use a lot of resources because they're so exploitable. You know, you have more kids, you can make more money, but through this system, you are guaranteed only up to minimum wage. So you get minimum wage, and I think anybody can say that if we give you minimum wage and you piss it away on heroin and you don't have enough money for food, then sorry, we did our best. We gave you a livable work, and the minimum wage would have to be discussed and figure out what's livable. You know, what's a reasonable amount.
No,
of
I just liked it. It just went from left wing to right wing in like one statement. Like, let's give everyone money, but screw you if you don't do it well and you deserve to die.
That's where it is. That's what you have to walk the middle. You know, I mean, there are no good right wing or left wing solutions.
That was not me arguing.
No, totally. I agree. So that would be the catch. You know, it's no longer exploitable. We know that if there are this many people who aren't working, then this is how much money we're spending on the people who aren't working, and it's going to stay static. And more people, the number of people working and not working will go up and down, but you'll also have this huge, you know, almost second renaissance, because you'd have these people who are now able to say, I've always wanted to be a novelist, but after I work 8 to 9 to 10 hours a day, and I get home and I have my dinner and I watch, you know, my one show that I've been looking forward to all week. After I watch my soaps, I'm not going to go write. And I'm in this position, and I'm sure you guys are in this position too, where you want to do creative things and you want to give back to society in ways that are not monetarily viable, but you can't. And there would be a huge portion of the population between the people who want to just go get money so they can buy shit and the people who want to just get their free check and buy weed and Taco Bell and watch Netflix. And that's going to be a huge part of society too. But in the middle is where we start gaining actual value from this system. And I think that would be pretty valuable. And I think it would work a lot better than capitalism does right now because it's spiraling out of control.
I mean, regardless, obviously, as we all know, that would never pass because, exactly what you said, Anton, where it's all right, we give you this amount of money, but if you don't follow it, fuck you. That part would never pass because people are we need to, watch out for those people because, we need to babysit people who don't know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in theory, that would be pretty sweet because a lot of people would die because they just don't have money to buy food.
But this would also have to go hand in hand with other social reform. You would have to have universal health care in this system. Obviously, if you are in a system that says you're going to get minimum wage and you are going to be able to live on this and that's the social security that we provide you, then also if you get into a car wreck and, need a heart transplant, you're obviously not going to be able to pay for that under the current system. So, single payer universal health care would have to be part of that. And there would be a lot of aspects you have to look at to judge how can we ensure you're secure socially with this money that we give you. So,
well, yeah I don't know, it's just the red-blooded carnivore in me. You know what I mean? It's there's no way to make a system like that is not exploitable because it's you can't make cost of living the same everywhere. You just can't. So people in Utah are going to find out that if you just live in California, minimum wage is $10 higher an hour. So all of a sudden, California is ridiculously overpopulated. And let's be honest, no one's living in North Dakota where minimum wage is $9 an hour because all they have to do is move.
But your money doesn't go as far in California. You may get $10, but everything else is so more expensive, it equals out.
It's not always perfectly equal, and it never will be. That's the problem. Is that
you also have to take into account there's a lot of people who live in cities because they have to have job opportunities. They would prefer to live out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere and to have absolutely no contact with the outside world. How much I would love to just live in a cabin on top of a mountain with an internet connection and running water and nothing else. That would be wonderful.
Yep,
I don't want to talk to you people.
Sweet.
That would be
made me dribble
amazing.
water on myself.
But you know what? There are no mountain jobs that pay what I get paid for IT. So I got to live in a city.
I don't know. It's just it all goes back to at the end of the day, when I lay my head on my pillow at night, I am an asshole, and that asshole believes that nobody should be rewarded for nothing. It doesn't matter. I wish that we could revamp the system so that there was more monetary benefit for things that currently aren't. The entertainment industry is retarded. Paying football players millions of dollars a year, retarded. Doesn't make sense. Needs to be revamped, right? But the idea of giving someone something for nothing just flies totally contrary. I don't know. It goes back to the participation trophy. You didn't do shit to earn that, so you didn't earn it, so you don't value it, so it's meaningless. It doesn't matter. And it's the whole pearls before swine argument. And I feel that's the same problem that a lot of systems are in already, is that when you give people something for nothing, they get accustomed to that, and then they get entitled, and then they can't break out of that the rest of their lives. Where it's no, give me. I deserve.
We already
just for being me.
We have tons of those people already.
Yeah, they already
and it would
exist.
only get worse. It would only get worse.
It's only going to get worse anyway because of the growing lower and higher class. You're going to have just a generation of shitheads.
Right. Let me make it clear. I'm not saying that I think instead we should stick with capitalism because huzzah, it's working great and will work forevermore. No, it's broken. It needs to be revamped. I'm just saying, once again, like Anton already said, the answer always lays somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Where it's we have to make allowances. We have to start making big, huge, sweeping changes because these little piddly things that we're doing here and there aren't doing shit to change the gigantic problems that are facing not only our country, but everywhere. I just think that it's really bad in our country.
What about, all right, if the U.S. wants to, police the world like we do and become, a giant military powerhouse, right, where, we kind of do what Anton's talking about, but if you can't get, some sort of job that, benefits, society in, some way after a period of time, you get auto-drafted into the military.
That's nice. It's like Death Race version 3.
Well,
or maybe not necessarily into the military, but
you can get out.
Federal work. Federal work would be reserved for people who haven't found work after a certain period of time or haven't there's some sort of standard for contribution. Either you're working or you're contributing something in some way, and that's where it would get complex because who's to say
that's where it gets hard because then there's the Buddhist monk where all he wants to do is, like you said, go sit on a mountain and think about life. And there's going to be a lot of people who are like, that's not contributing. Like, that's not doing anything.
But he's also not taking anything from society. He's not, like, using roads. He's not using public schools. So it doesn't matter if he's, like, shooting deer with his, like, gun and, like, eating that.
Telepathic power.
Right. I guess what I'm really saying is, like, what society do we need to where I can pilot my own ship, i.e. Firefly? Like, what do we need to make that
honestly,
happen?
I think what you need to make that happen is we continue on the exact same course we're on.
Then
everything crashes.
Yes.
And then independent businesses start picking stuff up, and basically we all decide to get the F off Earth because we poisoned it.
Okay. Yeah, so let's keep doing that. If any of you, think you would be a good, like, pilot, aka Wash, go ahead and, send your resume.
Feel free to sponsor the podcast and let us know. You can be part of our crew.
We need a very attractive sex worker to come along with us as well, too. I mean, that's a key portion of our money-making system. Not for us. Right. It's so that when we land on foreign, most likely dangerous planets, you'll, A, be the meat shield, literally and figuratively, and B, you can make us money. So send your applications and your full body shots.
Wait, are we still on Firefly? Because that doesn't... She wasn't a meat shield.
Well, I mean, not literally.
It's a very loose definition.
Like, I think that the main point with that character is, like, whoever that person is and myself need to have, like, the thickest sexual tension that you can, like, just cut with a knife. That's really, like, what brings that home.
Ryan, I'm just telling you, all you'll have to do is talk to her, and it's there. You just use that sultry voice, it's there. It's there.
With my sultry voice and my, like, default, like, asshole face.
Right.
Sexual tension everywhere.
Yeah, she did. Like, it doesn't matter.
For some reason, that doesn't work for me. I don't know.
It was funny because listening through the podcast that we already posted, man, I hate my own laugh. Like, it is the most grating, awful noise.
Everyone hates, their own voice. And you just try not to... You try to, like, turn it off before your mind goes nuts.
Right.
Before you listen to your own face.
And then you start, like, trying to change your laugh. So it sounds really fake. You're like, right, exactly. It's just terrible. It's terrible. That being said, jumping back 30 seconds, I loved that aspect of Firefly. I thought that was so convenient where, like, way in the future now prostitution, well, like, government-sponsored prostitution is, like, the most illustrious career. Yeah, being a companion.
Get it right.
It's, like, the most illustrious companion.
Bubba Sparks.
All right, I'm derailed. I'm not going on after that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to derail you.
We want to be space pimps, and we need people to apply, and we need
there's not. That's part of being a companion is there's not space pimps.
That's true.
Well,
they get to dictate their own work.
You're your own pimp. You got to slap your own face.
So
if you're not working hard enough, you have to backhand yourself. Like, that's all there is to it.
You got to keep your self-hand strong.
Saturday, we're going to be in New Detroit 7, and you need to scrounge up some fucking work.
I don't know why, Ryan, but the idea of a prostitute keeping their yourself hand strong just seems like it's something that has to happen. Like,
it does.
Isn't that something that already exists?
You'd already be keeping it strong because in the low gravity you're going to have like muscle loss. So it's like
true.
It's for them and for you.
Well, but they have the artificial gravity drives, right?
Oh.
In Firefly.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever actually said that.
Well, but they're walking around with gravity.
Yeah, it's implied
that they have a gravity drive of some type.
It's soft sci-fi, so they don't discuss the technology.
It's not like Dragon Ball Z type gravity where you can change it.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Ball Z. No, you just triggered something. Something really important.
Don't go down a Dragon Ball Z path.
No. I don't know. I have I've never seen a single episode of Dragon Ball Z. But the other day, Super Saiyan, I don't remember. I'll come back. But I had a really great idea for making tons of money off Dragon Ball Z again.
He's not coming back. All right, what are we talking about?
I'm just going to be sitting here quiet. Thinking to myself.
5 weeks from now at 2 a.m, John will send me an email. That Super Saiyan thing, dude.
Right. OP will surely deliver.
We're going to be rich, bitch.
Right. No, I have really good ideas. Okay, this is something we can talk about. Do you guys ever have a dream where in the dream you come up with like the best idea.
Oh,
like
yes,
it's the best. Times. Like you're gonna make tons of money. It's super awesome. Or even more than make money, you're like, I'm gonna make world peace, or I'm gonna like stop hunger, or whatever.
No hunger.
And then you wake up and you're still like super jazzed, but then you start thinking about the idea you had, and you realize it's the dumbest shit ever.
So I don't. None of my like ideas help society at all, which I think is pretty accurate too, like how I feel about society. But many times I have like in my head like the perfect movie script.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm just like, if I could film this, like that's like Oscar worthy. But then like, you know, fast forward like after I wake up like 10 minutes in the shower, I'm just like, I am a fucking retard.
That was dumb.
I need to like thank my boss for employment. Well, that's what I'm going to do first thing when I get to work.
Right,
well,
that's basically what happens.
The absolute worst is when you think of like an absolutely great story or an idea to like save the planet, and you go and you tell someone and you're super jazzed about it, and as soon as you're done, they're like, well, but what about this obvious hole in your logic?
Right.
It's like, fuck you! God damn it! I didn't.
No.
Mine was
my bubble.
Like, almost immediately I realized how dumb I was, because like in the dream I'm like, this is perfect, like this is the new Slinky, like this is going to revolutionize toys, and kids everywhere will buy it, right? Are you ready? It is Super Deck, and it's where you take one deck of cards and put it with another deck of cards. That was it. That was the entire idea. But Dream Me was like, I can't believe no one's thought of this before.
I'm pretty sure they have. That has to be
I'm pretty
there.
sure that exists. Or you just buy 2 decks.
No, because that's different. That's not a super deck, Anton.
The fuck it isn't. What differentiates?
What makes it super? You get like 3 aces?
Yeah, do you get like better cards? Do you get like a fucking Charizard in there?
No.
Better.
You're missing the point entirely. It's one deck with another deck. That's what makes it super.
So it's just double everything.
Yeah, you just have 2 of everything?
I am telling you it doesn't make sense. That was the point of this entire
Okay. Well, I'm going to burst your fucking bubble.
Right, yeah. Right. No, I woke up and I was like super excited, and then like as soon as my brain started actually like turning, I was like, super deck?
That was dumb.
That's the dumbest shit ever.
You were like at your computer like typing out your 2-week notice. Halfway through you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Right. Oh, I guess this isn't as good of an idea as I thought it was. That's all I had. That was my topic, you guys.
Yeah, I think my subconscious is an idiot when it comes to inventing things. It's not so good.
I feel like I don't have very many dreams like that. I don't solve problems in my dreams.
What do you do in your dreams, Anton? Like, take us there. Never-ending story style, which apparently I guess is being remade, by the way.
Of course it is. To quote from one of my favorite bands, Cake, Anton, when you sleep, where do your fingers go?
Oh, no,
what do your fingers know?
Do not answer that. We're trying to keep this like PG-13.
Right.
I'm always just like doing shit that I don't normally do. I think it's just my way. I think it's the way that my mind unloads the fact that I do the same thing every day. So I'm always like hanging out on a mountain, farming sheep or some shit. I don't know, like just doing random shit. And like, it always like cascades out of control. Where it's like you'll get
an episode of Always Sunny.
Yeah, like, well, I'll get too focused on one part of the dream. Like, I'll be up on a mountain, and I'll be farming sheep, and I'll start having, like, a deep conversation with one of the sheep, and then it's like, it's not a sheep anymore. Now it's like a goat, and we're on Mars. And how did we get here? I don't know, but let's go explore. Oh, is there air? You don't know. So, like, I'm realizing there's no air in this situation. Like, those are the kind of dreams I have that just, like, it's like really high people. Like,
so your dreams are David Lynch movies.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll trade my dreams for your dreams, Anton.
But I'm not solving problems. Like, I've never woken up from a dream and, like, cancer.
Like, mine, so mine's super short. Basically, like, 90% of my dreams is my subconscious just, like, taking sweet revenge on me for no reason. Like, it's like, hey, do you remember that, like, ex that you haven't thought about for 6 months? Here's a dream that'll make you cry when you wake up.
Right.
Enjoy your day. It's Monday, by the way, not Friday.
Honestly, I super rarely remember my dreams. Like, I always say that I don't dream, but then the smart asses are always like, well, you dream every night. Whatever. Yeah. Right. Well, I just can't remember my dreams very often. And when I do, 9 times out of the 10, they're horrifying nightmares. Mm-hmm. And it's like once every 2 weeks, and they are the type where I like wake up soaked in sweat, like visibly shaking, like not awesome nightmares, right?
Oh.
But what's funny is there's like 5 dreams that I've had in my life, and I'm not including the special dreams that are just for me. But there's like 5 dreams in my whole life that I remember with like crystal clarity, and one actually has Ryan in it. So.
Oh no.
No, this is super awesome. So I dream that the Jetsons show up, and George Jetson gives me bracelets that let me fly, right?
That's pretty sweet.
So, yeah, no, I'm psyched as hell. I'm like, I'm going to zip around, right?
And no black people.
I flew all around Junction.
Just
right?
like Jetsons.
Right,
racist.
Exactly. I flew all around Junction, and then I go and I landed at Thunder Mountain Elementary School, right? And I immediately ran to find you, and I'm like, Ryan, I got these bracelets and they let me fly, right? And you're like, no way. So you wanted to try. So you tried and you're like flying around or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Run inside and get everyone, right? And I'm going to show them. And so you gave the bracelets back. You run inside and you come out. So the whole school is there watching. Turns out they don't work when people are watching. So I fell on my face like 30 times in a row and then everyone just went inside. And you were like, sorry, bro. And you just left.
I feel like that's like a very elaborate version of the like I went to school and I didn't have pants on.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it was. It was basically like no matter what you do in life, you'll be a failure.
Oh,
so that's what that
harsh.
Right.
I'm going to bring this back to good TV. I'm going to loop it in. Have you guys seen the British show Misfits?
No.
Oh my god.
I've heard it really highly recommended.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really good. My friend recommended it to me, and I just got done watching it. But, I mean, the basic premise is that there's these British kids, and they're in juvie. Basically, they're doing community service. And they get hit by lightning, and, you know, like the Spider-Man bite, now they have powers. So they've all got, like, really, really, really unique powers. And this is one awkward kid, and they literally just call him Awkward Guy. And he gets the power to turn invisible as long as no one's looking.
Whoa! That's Mystery Man, dude.
Yeah. But it's like that's his thing, and so like if no one's looking, he can turn invisible and then like go into like a locker room and check out naked chicks. But you know,
if the chicks see him,
no. But they can see him then. He can only turn invisible when no one's looking at him, and then once he's invisible, he stays invisible until he either decides not to or gets like way too stressed out, and then he loses it.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Anyways,
so the actual act of going invisible has to be alone or when no one's looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's really good. So, like, some of the other characters, there's this one girl that anyone who touches her becomes, like, insanely, like, rapey about her. Like, I'm gonna have sex with you right now, and you cannot stop me.
That sounds like the worst power for a girl to have.
That's... right? Doesn't it sound terrible? But she has to deal with it. And, like, in some ways, she can use it to her advantage to, like, get things that she wants. Because people will say yes to anything when they're in this, like, touching her mode. But other times, it's like she, like, brushes up against, like, a girlfriend. And now she's getting, you know, straight up, like, muck dives.
So like, she has
like,
the power of...
news.
She has the power of very, very attractive women. In real
yeah, exactly.
She has the power of being born female. That's the power that she was granted by being struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's terrible. That's terrible.
And there's one guy that at complete random times, he will just make time rewind. Like, something will happen, and, like, certain stressful situations will cause him to just, like, snap, and the entire world rewinds, like, 1 minute.
Sounds like season 3 of Heroes. Am I right, everyone?
Right? So anyways,
I stopped after season 1.
That's why I actually make that joke. I didn't watch it either.
No.
I'm not giving it enough credit, but go check it out. It's really well done, and Misfits. Check it out.
Yeah.
I'm now going to combine both of your ideas and tell you about the greatest idea for a television show I've ever had that we need to film immediately, and that is Superhero Retirement Home. Okay? So, like, all the superheroes go to one retirement home, obviously, because they all have powers, right? But it is endless material for humor. Like, Cyclops still has, like, laser beams, but he's consistently, he can't see, right? And he's always forgetting that he has that power, so he, like, pulls down his glasses and just, like, vaporizes everything, right? And then just, like, I like that, like, Wolverine, like, everything's rusty, so, like, his claws, like, take forever to get out, and they're just gross. like not awesome. Right?
So,
could you imagine, like, 90-year-old, like, grumpy Deadpool?
Yeah,
well, and then rolling around just being a dick.
Right.
But Wolverine,
I know, doesn't age. We'll get there. There's lots of logical problems, right? But then you have like Quicksilver, and his hips have gone out, but he's still super fast. But he uses a walker, so you can hear him coming because it's like like as it's like vibrating down the hallway, stuff like that. But then the best part of all is that Spider-Man is in like every scene, but he's just out of frame. and then when like characters leave, he just falls into frame because like his stickiness is wearing off. So like he's always falling off of walls because it just like wears off. It's brilliant, you guys. It's like we could do so much with this idea.
Why hasn't Marvel done this? I mean, run with this.
Right, and then if you want to go to DC Universe, same still applies. Like I love the idea of the Riddler who's stealing shit and then he hides it. But he has Alzheimer's, so he can't remember the answers to his own riddles. So he's like taking shit, but then he can't remember that he did it. And it's just like, it would be awesome. Like, there's so much material. So Marvel, if you want to contact me personally, superhero retirement home, I've already got an initial script. I am more than willing to sell it to you for 7 figures.
Like, instead of X-Men First Class, this needs to be X-Men, like, Last Class. Like,
right, exactly.
This is the end. Like, do that! Give him an island. Let him go crazy.
X-Men depends.
X-Men depends.
It would be the greatest. Like, for real.
Bruce Banner loses it. Bingo.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly. Or I like the idea also that Bruce Banner's skin is just like super stretched out, like the grossest like fat people because it keeps expanding and contracting. But he's not elastic anymore, so it's just like all floppy. It would be awesome. It would be totally awesome.
Brilliant.
Yep. So pay me money for that idea, everyone.
Send all your monies.
Send all your monies to Anton. He's the one that's handling all of the podcast money. He's our official account.
Yeah.
Give me the money. Make it rain on us. Come on.
He's cooking those books.
Yeah.
To make us more cash.
Exactly.
Well, so far we've made a resounding nothing. So if we
which book? In which book have we made nothing?
The official book.
The one that we have to pay taxes on. That's what I'm talking about.
In the IRS book, we've made nothing.
but in the book of our hearts, we have made 12 views.
That's true.
That's right.
And that, my friends, that's priceless.
One of those was me, though, so.
Oh, 16 views.
Hey!
One of them was also me.
I can't wait for our first comment. Like, I know it's going to be something like, you guys are faggots. But
it's going to be one of...
I just want it.
It's going to be one of two things. It's going to say fags or first.
First. That's the one I hope it's
one of those ones.
Okay. All right.
First.
That's okay. Like, it's funny because I'm in some YouTube videos with this like local group around here that does kid history. I've brought it up before, but what's funny is like I'll scroll through like old videos that I was in to look at comments to see if anyone brings me up, right? And this one, like I was getting so hyped because everyone loved me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, the Tooth Fairy's so good. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Oh my gosh, right." I'm scrolling through and I'm getting just like super hype, right? Like so good. And then I get to this one and it's like, "Holy cow, that Tooth Fairy totally has man boobs." And I'm like, all right, I'm shutting the internet and I'm not coming back. Like, never has a stranger so cut me to my very core before.
I'm now moving to New Zealand where I will live as a sheep.
Right, as a sheep. Just herd me. Just tell me what to do.
Let me eat grass and leave me alone.
Right, exactly. I never ever want to talk to another person.
All right, guys. So let's discuss the Apple iThings real quick. Anton, I believe you are the only one of us three who have actually witnessed these things. And also at this time, I would like to welcome our listeners to the BitLike podcast.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're into it.
Yay! Now we're starting. Well, yeah, so I watched the Apple event. I mean, it's obviously...
Wait, so are we for real now? Are we recording? Should I start? Should I? I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. Did we lose all of that?
That was golden.
It was gold. Yeah, so I watched the Apple event. The broadcast was terrible. They did an absolute shit show bringing it to the public. And even for an Apple event, and I've gone on record before and said that I dislike Apple products, I am open to them. If they would fix everything that's wrong with them, I would love them.
I think they would make great products if they stopped doing everything they're doing now and made good products.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's all I'm asking. Is just take all the things you do and do them better and different. Right. Okay. So the basic overview, we've got...
except for packaging.
They've
got their packaging down.
Yeah.
It's classy.
So they've got two new iPhones, the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. So there's now a plus size version.
XL.
Yep. There's now an iPhone that shops at Maurice's. So they've gone. Brand. Yeah. They both have bigger screens. One is 4.7, same as the Galaxy S3, and the other one is 5.5, so comparable to the Note 3, I believe. So they're huge. The resolution has been scaled up for each one. The Plus is 1080, and the standard iPhone is not. It's some other obscure.
Wait, it's not Retina?
It's 1080 is Retina Plus, apparently.
Oh, okay, right, on that screen.
Yeah. Okay, but time out for a second. This is my exact problem with Apple. I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'm sorry to freaking whatever, but it is 2014, and your base model phone is not 1080p. What are you doing in the market? What are you doing?
Find out the exacts.
Right, that doesn't make sense to me. That's like me jumping into the monitor game right now and making monitors that are 1200 by 900. What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. I'm mad, Ryan. And I'll tell you what, if they still only have freaking 512 megs of RAM, Anton, feed me specifications.
Feed me the
info.
Trying
to find specs. Okay. So the iPhone 6 is 1334 by 750. So it's
barely. It's right past 720p.
It's 720. I mean, basically the only reason it's not 720 is because Apple uses the stupidest fucking dimensions for their goddamn phones because they want to be different. So good job on that. Way to make a non-standard resolution. I mean.
Okay, so I'm already mad about this. Keep going. Keep rolling. Okay. I'm mad. Freaking base model phone should be 1080p. It's 2014. Get over it.
Yeah. And so the standard iPhone is 326 pixels per inch. The 6 Plus is 401 pixels per inch. So, I mean, their density is still really high. So it's still Retina. I'm using giant quotes for those listening to the audio only because Retina is not a thing. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. It's just a marketing term. So anyways, they're Retina displays. They're larger screens. Still 5 rows of static icons. Right. iOS 8 is coming out. Still no widgets. Still no noticeable upgrades of any sort since the original release of iOS. Argue with me all you want. It's the same fucking operating system.
No, it is. I agree completely.
The biggest thing they added is this new Apple Pay thing. So they're finally using NFC, which they made this big deal about, that they are revolutionizing the contactless payment method. NFC has been around for goddamn forever. MasterCard and Visa already use this in their cards all over the place. Android's had NFC since the dawn of mankind.
Yeah.
So whatever. But now they're officially supporting it, and Apple's pushing it, and so all of the hipster stores are going to be using it, and it's not going to catch on because there's no monetary benefit to the store to purchase the equipment to process contactless payment because everybody already has cards and they're already going to buy your shit anyways. So that was their big thing, Apple Pay. And then they talked about the new iWatch, and it's not iWatch, it's just Watch. They're dropping the i moniker because it sounds... Yeah, which makes no fucking sense. Why not brand it? But right. I guess they're sick of it being a cliche and it being made fun of that they do everything. So now they're just not doing that anymore. Good job, Cook. That's a smart idea.
Now, Anton, I am hearing that it is possible with the new watch to stop and rewind time. And now, is that true?
It's not.
Can you confirm?
Not on the first revision, but
God
fucking
second. Damn it, you bitch. All right, never mind.
So, this is my other question. When you go to Apple's actual website and look up phone specs, why do they not list any relevant specs at
Because they know you don't care. They know
but
you don't care.
But I do. What kind of processor does it even have?
Are you going to buy it?
No.
Exactly. So you don't care.
It don't matter. They don't care about you. If you want to know specs, you're not buying an iPhone. That's the thing about it.
Well, okay, this is super concerning. Remember how I was just talking shit about how much RAM they have? I just looked it up on freaking CNET's website, iPhone 6 Plus. So we're talking the bigger one that's supposed to be more fancy. Under RAM, it says NA. Mm-hmm. How the hell is RAM not applicable?
But, alright, so, all three of us, we already know this, but, Apple products are basically luxury, cars. Where, if you don't have the newest version, it doesn't like matter. No one's impressed. Like if you have like a 10-year-old BMW, like no one's like, oh, check out that dude. You have to have the newest version, and Apple knows that. And they also piss off a lot of people who still use Apple products for like legitimate art reasons because they cycle through technology so quickly that people can't use the newest versions to still do what they do. But back to you, Anton.
Well, and they do. Well, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just looked up. So after doing more research, the iPhone 6 Plus will have the A8 with M8 coprocessor. I don't know what that means, but I will tell you that an A8 processor, which is in their brand new phone, this is the cutting edge technology, is a 1.4 gigahertz dual core processor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even the freaking Samsung like Note has a 2. Oh, I can remember this. Give me a second. It's like a 2.4 gigahertz quad core processor.
Well, they're claiming it's quad core. I mean, everything that I'm saying is claiming that the 6 is going to be quad core, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a form of hyperthreading. I think they're threading 2 cores.
Right.
So, and even if they're not, it doesn't really matter because the Snapdragons are already faster by a substantial margin.
Well, and now the freaking brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 4, they're going to offer a different model that has a 1.9 gigahertz octa-core chipset in it.
Yeah.
Like, people are making innovations and you're not. Like, you're not changing anything.
Mm-hmm. And so I want to address the argument because I guarantee there are going to be people who are going to listen to this and they're either going to be Apple fanboys or they're just going to have a very moderate opinion of all phones, which is actually where I place myself. I'm not an Android fanboy. In fact, my Android phone is a pain in my ass. And
mine is too.
I always have problems with them. So I'm anti-phone, period. All of the phone OSs totally blow. The best phone OS I've actually worked with is Windows 8 phone because honestly it was made for phones and touch devices and it actually works really well. It doesn't work on a goddamn desktop, Microsoft, but it does work on a phone and a tablet pretty well. But I don't have very much experience with it, so I'm sure I'd find all kinds of problems with it. So this is not an anti-Apple, pro-Android discussion. Just specifically, Apple does have that problem where they have this philosophy of refining technology and making it perfect and then releasing it at a premium price, which is bullshit, honestly.
Yeah. And it's just like, it has now taken, let's see, I'm going to guess 4 iterations, 4 new products of people bitching about them not having a bigger screen to finally increase the screen to a comparable size. Nothing else has changed. You have to keep up with the market you're in. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't say, oh, but we're the first ones who had like an all-machine aluminum body. Tough shit. Everyone has it now. It doesn't matter. Oh, well, we have Corning Gorilla Glass. Yeah, so does everyone else. Like,
another interesting thing about that is they went back to the rounded edges. Remember how with the 5, they have the flat edges, and there's like really cool apps that actually take advantage of that. Like having a flashlight, you can like set it on its edge in a dark room and have it project out while you're working. And also, have you seen that photo app where you set it down and it has like, it's perfectly calibrated to the vibration of the phone, so it buzzes and it knows that it twists while it vibrates. So you can take automatic panoramas on a table utilizing the buzzing and the camera feature. So that's really cool. Completely obsolete. Can't use it. Will never work again. It won't stand up. Why? Nobody.
Because they didn't make it.
Yeah.
They're not making money off of it, so they don't care.
Yeah. It's completely pointless. It makes no sense to change that. And it goes against like the new modern look. Like the new modern look that everyone is after, that everyone's using is clean, straight lines. You know, things that
minimalist.
Yeah, things that are really minimalist, and the iPhone has trended away from that. They've gone along with that curve. I mean, the first iPhone was a round, ugly piece of shit. It was like that old Apple round mouse that they tried to push on everyone when you bought a Mac. It's terrible. Nobody liked that mouse, and that's why they don't give you those fucking mouses anymore. They've got new mice. So it's arbitrary.
Mooses. Mises.
many much mooses.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's just one of those things, right, to constantly get annoyed about. Like, I am super, like, I don't really care about operating systems, but I am a huge phone fan. Like phone manufacturers, I love it when new stuff comes out. I love looking at like new things, and it's like I have been an HTC devotee for years. Like I don't think they always have the best phones on the market, but they always have good phones on the market, right? And it's like, I love them, and it's like, now LG, that G3, that phone is sick. Like, that's LG making a super awesome phone, and it's like, I'm seeing the evolution as people, like, companies are listening, they're making feedback, like Samsung doing really crazy stuff, like, we're gonna make a waterproof cell phone because everybody's ruining their phones by getting them wet. Yeah. And that's like, that's the cutting edge of cell phone technology. Yeah.
Isn't it like the Galaxy Active or something like that it's called?
Well, and now it's going to be standard on the S5, right? It's like dust and waterproof. I think so.
To a certain
and
extent.
It's just like,
and resistant, yeah.
Right, resistant, not proof. Like, you can't just dunk it in water. But it's still just like, they're at least working to be on the edge of, this is what's next. This is what people have problems with. This is the issues facing cell phone technology. Here's what we're going to do about it. And Apple is like, but ours has an Apple on it.
So this is, I'm going to go on a mini rant here, but I'm going to tie it together because I don't want to just bash on Apple, because that's not productive whatsoever. So my philosophy with technology is that technology exists to solve problems, right? Yeah. And that's what it's here for. So my vision of phone technology, and the reason why I get excited about phones, even though they're the bane of my existence, is because we're taking the power of a computer and we're putting it into an extremely small platform. And ultimately, I would love to have a phone that is powerful enough to do everything my desktop and my laptop currently does. And when that happens, I can then have a dock at home that I plug it into. It plugs into a monitor, and I can use it as my home computer. I can plug it into a laptop shell and have a mobile computer with an actual keyboard and mouse and touchpad. I can use it as a phone. I can, like, everything you could do with a phone if it was just powerful enough. And all it would take is continuing to develop the technology and sticking to industry standards. And that's where Apple pisses me off. Like, they've got this Lightning connector, which is just fancy USB. I know it does more than USB. I understand that. I know that it's a premium connection.
Well, but like, does more, if the more is useless, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
Everyone has 600 million USB cords. I've got more USB cords than I have friends. And, you know, I've got a fair amount of friends. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the point is, everyone, Windows uses USB. Android uses USB. Every device that you buy uses USB. It's a standard. And it's a standard for a reason, because it's proven reliable. It's widely accepted. It was developed. USB 3.0 started development like way back in 2008. Wasn't even released to the general market until late 2010. So, I mean, there's a like huge development cycle and a lot of industry experts who worked on these standards. And Apple just says, fuck it, we don't want to do that. We want you to buy our cable because we want to make more money, A.
Because it's
and
B, better.
Yeah, and we want to be different. So that makes no goddamn sense. So that's why I hate Apple, because they're pushing away from standards. They're proprietarizing. Is that a word? They're making everything proprietary. Right. Which, making things proprietary only increases revenue and does nothing for the consumer. It's the most anti-consumer thing you can do.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, it can be like very frustrating. Like, I was very frustrated when they got rid of FireWire. Because the nice thing about FireWire for video editors was that it streamed data where USB was packets. So they got rid of like FireWire and kind of just like gave the finger to like video editing.
Right. Well, and it's like, Anton, I think that you nailed it, right? Like, I remember the old days going to LAN parties, right? Where I had my big CRT monitor in the back of my car and my tower next to me seat belted in, and like all of my keyboard and my and like, as computers have progressed, it's so nice now that towers are small. Like, I have a portable tower that I take to like all of my LAN parties and everything like that, right? So when the day comes in the future that this is my tower, that has like a screen built in, but this is my tower that I can take anywhere, and like all I have to take is this and a keyboard and mouse and monitor, and just like slap it down on my dock, and it can run games, and it can do like all these things that my tower can do. That will completely, like, I will have no more need for a home computer and a laptop and like anything. It'll be everything.
Yeah, it's everything. That's where this technology needs to go. That's the end game for phones. I mean, phones aren't phones anymore, obviously. Phones are mobile computers, and so mobile computing, that's the end game, is to have one device that I can do everything with, or I can have very few devices that are all very, very, very good at doing many, many things. Yeah. You know, that's where it needs to go. And Android is pushing us in that direction. We've got multiple manufacturers working with very standardized parts. I mean, it's almost to the point where you could build a phone. If they made phone motherboards with RAM and CPU sockets and cases that were standardized, like ATX standardized cases, you could build a phone. Buy a product.
Well, there's even been companies that have been trying to do that, like modular phones where you decide, like, let's say you're a person like me and you never take pictures. I have never, frequently use a camera, so you swap out the camera module and put more RAM in it, or you put a bigger battery in it, or something like that. That would be awesome.
That would be fucking cool, and that would solve so many problems, you know? And not only that, that would help the developing market. You know, we're always worried about making sure that we can get technology into these markets in third world countries or in parts of the world that generally wouldn't have access to technology. We're always trying to get them tablets and cheap computers and things that, you know, will improve their quality of life dramatically. If you could get modular mobile technology where we could take a phone, strip out all the unnecessary bullshit, just get it internet access, get it cellular access, get it a reasonable size screen with a cheap mass-produced processor, you could get $30 phones that will change these people's lives.
Oh, yeah. Easily. Yeah. Easily you can do that. Like, that's not even a stretch, you know, like, we have the technology to do that now. That's not like in the future, in 10 years, in 15 years, no. Like, if companies retooled, we could have that right now today.
Yeah, but there's no profit in it, which is why nobody's doing it. Right. And that's why, and the more popular Apple products get, and I will continue to single them out, they're making it more and more and more difficult because none of the research that they do is helping the industry whatsoever. It's purely helping their bottom line and helping them produce more phones at a faster rate so people can upgrade more. They can continue working on their planned obsolescence and making it so that people are wasting money, valuable money that can be spent in other places on technology that's not helping the industry.
And supporting our podcast. If they weren't buying new iPhones every year, they could pay for us to do this.
They could pay for us.
Yeah,
hey, how about
exactly.
this? Don't buy an iPhone. Keep using your current phone because it works fine. There's nothing wrong with your phone. I'm looking at you, listener, watcher. Give us that money, and we'll give you quality content about why you should buy new phones.
Having said
I will
that,
offer my services. This is for real. I will do this. Instead, you pay me a small finder's fee, and I will find you a used phone somewhere online that will work perfect for way cheaper, and I get to keep the difference and put towards the podcast. I will do this.
I will put in my 2 cents, though. Do not buy an iPhone 4, because after that new iOS update, my phone ran like crap. Even after
they do that on purpose.
Even after like the update to fix it running like crap on the new OS.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I love when I went to Android was after that.
That's actually when I did too. The last iPhone I had was an iPhone 4, and I finally was like, this is bullshit. Like, I can't do it. And I love how it took them like a year and a half to say like, oh yeah, it actually like reduced battery life to like 60% of what it was. And I'm like, we all knew this. Go on any Apple forum and every user is bitching about it. This is not a mystery anymore. Yeah, like, this is not a press release. This is you admitting that you were wrong all along.
Yeah, they like just recently, like within the last like couple of weeks, like came out and said that there was like an iPhone 5 battery problem.
Right.
And that was like the 5. That's a while ago.
Right. I love it.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
McDonald's, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast. Even just in food. Like, if you just want to, like, send us McChickens while we
some chicken nugs.
That'd be great.
Maybe some, Cherry's Jubilee. And I want half Cherry Coke.
Half Cherry Coke.
Half Diet Coke. I'm watching my figure.
Yeah.
Take one of the nuggets and shove it up your ass, because I'm only wanting 4 McNuggets.
Hey, what do you want?
God, come on with the order!
And a Filet-O-Fish.
That's our number 3 plug.
Yeah.
Right, well, in KG,
if there's one thing we're good at,
podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Tenacious D, brought to you by Tenacious D, the greatest rock band that's ever lived.
I was first introduced to them, I think in 2002. I can't remember like when they're
probably right about then. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was listening. I put them on my phone, and I was listening to them on my commute a couple days ago. Still pretty good. The song, it's shorter than I remember it being. Like, the songs are pretty short. You like eat through that album pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is they're the really shitty movie. What did they make? Pick of Destiny. The movie not good at all, but the music from the movie is pretty damn good. Like it's pretty funny.
There's a lot of cameos that people don't know about in there. Like the devil is the guy from Foo Fighters.
Yeah, Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl.
Who was also the devil in the tribute music video.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like Dio, that was actually Dio in that song, before he died. So that's awesome.
Oh, have you guys seen the Kill Switch Engage?
The dad was
version?
Meatloaf, right? I'm pretty sure the dad was Meatloaf.
Yeah, dad was Meatloaf.
Oh, yeah.
Kill Switch Engage what?
The Kill Switch Engage of Holy Diver?
Oh
my god. Like, so basically, like, do you guys know about Kill Switch Engage? They're kind of like a metal sort. Yeah, so they did a cover of Rio's Holy Diver, and I want to see that music video in a movie version because essentially it's just a heavy metal medieval music video where like the like maiden is a dude with like crazy facial hair. They don't even like try to hide it. It's awesome.
Dude, I need to see this. Did I tell you, did I tell one or both of you about Arm Cannon?
Yeah, I think in the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Dude, listen to Arm Cannon. It's like 80s power metal video game music. It's so good. It's so good.
Essentially the best kind of music.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
really,
Beethoven,
really is.
And then it ended there.
Right,
That's basically music. That's the timeline.
No, it's really funny because people all the time will ask me, like, well, what do you listen to, like, just all the time? You know, like, not like, what do you pick and choose when you're having, like, a house party, but, like, what do you just throw on in the background? And I'm like, shit, it's usually chip tunes. Like, it's chip tunes or, like, just straight video game soundtracks. Like,
I normally say Eastern European speed metal, so they'll stop talking to me.
Right. Norwegian death metal.
Yeah.
And then just keep a straight face.
Have you heard of the Black Satans? Check out their music video.
Mostly it's just that one Cannibal Corpse song on repeat.
Well,
there was one guy from my school who literally listened to Chop Suey on repeat, like all day, every day. Yeah, that kid was messed up. I'm just saying.
This is where I get into an argument with a lot of people because I can't stand System of a Down, which is not, like, nothing against them. I think they make good music, but the singer, his voice, makes me want to just stab my ears. I cannot stand his voice. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I know. They're a great band. Very influential. I'm not insulting you if you like System of a Down.
Good.
But I can't handle it, man. I can't handle his voice. Why?
I understand that,
Why do you sing like that?
As someone who loves System of a Down, that opinion doesn't bother me at all. Because I totally get it. Like, I can totally see why it's grating and annoying.
Yeah,
if I can turn down the vocal track, great. Or, like, have, like, someone who's a good singer sing this part over the instrumental track, great.
Like Eddie Vedder. Or Geddy Lee.
Eddie Vedder.
Like Adele, maybe?
Yeah, if Adele would sing.
If I was trying to think of something worse, but I think that's basic. Jason Mraz.
But,
if Jason Mraz could sing System of a Down.
But now on the other hand, I'm a complete, I don't have any room to stand on because I love MC Chris, and his voice is like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Everybody hates MC Chris because his voice is so fucking annoying. So, but I love him. I think he's great.
But I mean, we're all '90s kids, so we grew up listening to some people who could only sing through their nose. So I mean, like, whatever. If we can get used to that, like, I remember months and months and months of listening to something corporate, and now when I listen to it, I'm like, this dude's straight up singing out of his nose, like straight up. There's no other way to explain it.
Well, I always made that joke that, like, there's like in the early 2000s, late '90s, there were two singers. There's the guy who sung for My Chemical Romance, who was in all the other bands. Right. It sounded exactly like him. And there was, like, the guy who sang for Green Day. And he was in, like, Blink-182 and Sum 41. All the same guy. Like, I can't...
Pretty much.
Okay, I have to do music nerd really quick. Did you guys hear it is... what's his name? Billy Joe Armstrong and Norah Jones did an Everly Brothers cover album?
I heard about it, and I heard some of it on NPR. I have not listened to it yet, though.
It sounds awesome.
I hear it's great.
Phenomenal. He does not at all sound like him. Like, he sounds like a good old folk singer. Like, it's awesome. It's so good. It reminds me a lot of that Robert Plant and Alison Krauss did the Raising Sand album that is just, it blows my mind. And it won, like, best album of the year that year and everything. And it's good. Like, I was shocked. It's called Foreverly, as one word. Clever.
I need to find it. David Gilmour did an album with an electronic band, and it was like It was basically like him like floating out on the guitar over like kind of ambient sort of electronic music, and I'll find it. It's really good. Same kind of concept, like the mix of like those classic rock guys with new age shit. It was wonderful.
Which is why I'm going to totally pimp this. I don't know how you both feel about rap and hip hop, but it doesn't matter. If you do not listen to Girl Talk, repent and listen to Girl Talk.
So
every album. It's so awesome. Greg Gillis is one of the most talented people on the face of the planet. Like, it's so awesome. What's he looking for? Porn.
I'm trying to.
He's checking his porn torrents.
Okay, so the album is called Metallic Spheres. It's by a band called The Orb, and it's The Orb featuring David Gilmour. So very, 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 very good album to get stoned to. So check it out. Check it out.
So all of our Colorado listeners, this one's for you.
All for Washington listeners, check it out. Yeah, but same philosophy. Really, really good shit.
Good shit is good shit.
Good shit.
Good shit combined is the best shit.
Yeah, right. It's like the best shit. The shit you're proud of.
Yep.
The shit you walk away from.
3 times you've almost made me spit take, Anton.
Oh, shit, man. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I feel like if
it was
we keep
3
going,
yeps.
we're just going to be wasting the topic.
Yep. 3 yeps. That is the end of our podcast. That's what that donates. Yep.